In first place, we have the Netherlands. The Netherlands may not have the most famous squad in the world right now, but they're becoming one of the most complete national teams heading into the 2026 World Cup. For years, Dutch football has been known for producing elegant and highly technical players. But this new generation combines creativity with something even more dangerous: physical intensity. Players like Virgil van Dijk, Xavi Simons, Jeremy Frimpong, and Cody Gakpo give the Netherlands speed, control, and a highly aggressive counter-attacking style. One of this team's biggest strengths is balance. They can sit deep defensively, dominate possession, or destroy opponents in fast transitions with incredible pace. And defensively, they remain one of the most physically dominant national teams in international football. The biggest concern is still consistency. Because despite producing world-class talent for many years, the Dutch national team has often struggled to handle the enormous pressure of major tournaments. But if this generation finally finds stability and confidence, the Netherlands could easily become one of the most dangerous teams in the entire World Cup. And that's exactly what makes the Netherlands a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. Germany. Germany always becomes dangerous when the World Cup begins, because very few national teams in football history understand pressure like the Germans do. After years of disappointing tournaments, Germany has finally rebuilt itself around a new generation full of creativity, speed, and technical intelligence. Players like Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz have transformed the German attack into something far more aggressive and unpredictable. Instead of that slow style focused only on possession, this new Germany attacks quickly, presses aggressively, and creates constant pressure between defensive lines. But the biggest reason Germany remains dangerous might be its mentality. Historically, Germany rises during major tournaments. They know how to handle pressure, they know how to survive difficult matches, and they know how to win. The biggest concern is still the defense, which sometimes struggles against very fast counterattacks. But if the young talents continue developing until 2026, Germany could once again become one of the most complete national teams in world football, and that's exactly what makes Germany a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. Now we have Portugal. Portugal might have one of the most talented squads on the planet right now, because unlike previous generations that relied almost entirely on Cristiano Ronaldo, this new Portuguese team has quality in virtually every position on the pitch. Players like Rafael Leão, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and João Neves have turned Portugal into an extremely technical, creative, and dangerous attacking side. And even at an older age, Cristiano Ronaldo still remains a massive presence within the national team. But what truly makes Portugal frightening is the squad depth. They have explosive wingers, intelligent midfielders, and experienced defenders all at the same time. This team can dominate possession, explode on the counterattack, and press high with incredible intensity. The biggest question mark is still the mental side, because in several recent tournaments, Portugal looked talented enough to go further, but ended up struggling in crucial moments. But if this generation finally manages to turn talent into consistency, Portugal could arrive in 2026 with one of the most dangerous teams in the World Cup. And that's exactly what makes Portugal a real threat to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Brazil. Brazil always enters every World Cup carrying a different kind of pressure, because no national team in history has won the tournament more times. And now, once again, Brazil arrives surrounded by expectation, talent, and world-class stars. Players like Vinicius Jr., Neymar, Bruno Guimarães, and Rafinha give Brazil something very few national teams possess: the ability to decide games through individual moments of brilliance. That may still be Brazil's greatest weapon: its attacking talent. Very few teams in the world can produce attackers as creative, explosive, and unpredictable as Brazil. On top of that, the national team has also become more physically intense and defensively organized in recent years. But the biggest concern remains the team's emotional balance in high-pressure matches, because in several recent World Cups, Brazil showed enough quality to win it all, only to be eliminated in moments of extreme pressure. Even so, when Brazil plays with confidence, the team's football can look simply unstoppable. And that is exactly what makes Brazil a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. Argentina. Argentina heads into 2026 with something very few national teams truly have: a winning mentality. After lifting the 2022 FIFA World Cup, this Argentine generation started playing with far more confidence and personality. And even with Lionel Messi nearing the end of his career, the team remains extremely competitive. Players like Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, and Lautaro Martinez have helped build a very balanced squad. Argentina can defend with intensity, control the tempo of the game, and compete emotionally like very few teams in the world. But maybe the most dangerous thing about this team is its mentality. Today, the Argentines step onto the pitch believing they can beat anyone. And in a World Cup, confidence changes everything. The biggest question will be how the team adapts once the Messi era finally comes to an end, because replacing the greatest player in history is never simple. But even so, Argentina still looks like one of the most complete and competitive national teams in world football. And that's exactly what makes Argentina a real threat to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup. England. England may have the most talented generation the country has produced in decades. For many years, England created strong squads, but rarely managed to turn talent into truly dominant football. Now, that's starting to change. Players like Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, and Harry Kane have transformed England into an extremely dangerous attacking team. This squad combines youth, physical intensity, and creativity at a very high level. And unlike England teams of the past, this current generation looks far more emotionally mature. They've learned how to compete better in major tournaments. The greatest strength of this team may actually be its balance. They can control games, press high up the pitch, and still have match winners capable of changing a game on their own. But the biggest problem remains the enormous pressure from the English media and fans, because every World Cup in England turns into a national obsession. And historically, that pressure has already destroyed several talented generations. But if this team can handle the pressure, England could finally return to the top of world football after decades away. And that's exactly what makes England a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. France may have the most terrifying squad in world football right now, because very few national teams can combine so much speed, physical power, depth, and individual talent all at once. Players like Kylian Mbappé, Ousmane Dembélé, Aurélien Tchouaméni, Eduardo Camavinga, and William Saliba make France look dangerous in almost every area of the pitch. And what's even more impressive is that the French national team keeps producing new talent non-stop. Even when great players leave, new stars emerge almost immediately. But France's real advantage might be their physical explosiveness. Very few teams can attack open space and destroy defenses in transition the way the French do. When they find open field, they look almost impossible to stop. On top of that, France has already proven over the last few years that they know how to compete in major tournaments. They've reached finals, won the FIFA World Cup, and maintained an unbelievable level of consistency on the international stage. The biggest concern at times is the squad's emotional balance, especially during moments of internal tension. But when France plays fully focused, there may not be a more dangerous national team on the planet. And that's exactly what makes France a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. Spain might currently be the most technically organized and dominant national team in world football. After winning the Euros and completely rebuilding their generation, the Spanish have started to look like a terrifying powerhouse once again. But unlike the old tiki-taka era, this new Spain plays in a much faster, more vertical and aggressive way. Players like Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Nico Williams, and Rodri have turned Spain's attack into something incredibly creative and extremely difficult to defend against. And maybe no national team controls the tempo of matches better than Spain right now. They press high, move the ball quickly, and suffocate opponents with possession and constant movement. The biggest strength of this team is the collective itself. While other national teams rely heavily on individual superstars, Spain operates almost like a perfectly organized machine. The biggest question mark is still the youth of part of the squad, because many of these players will be playing in their first World Cup in 2026. But if this generation keeps evolving at the current pace, Spain could arrive as the most complete team in the tournament. And that's exactly what makes Spain a real threat to win the 2026 World Cup. And now the question is, which of these national teams really looks the most prepared to win the 2026 World Cup? France, Brazil, Spain, or maybe a surprise team? Comment below and tell me which one is your favorite. And if you enjoy international football, the World Cup, and videos like this, make sure to follow the channel because there are still a lot more teams and players for you to discover.